And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this segment today. Hey, it's Friday. Well, it is Friday, and looking at the weekend, there's so much that's happening in this weekend, and we'd like to, bring you a lot of functions and events that are taking place, and we'll talk about all of them as we go along in the show. But don't forget that today at 4 p.m. we have Migration Ka Safar with Suman Dua right here. So if you have any questions, that will be answered right here. So don't forget that live at 4 p.m. Join Suman Dua. And if you have any questions, you can put them in the comment section. As we know, there's a lot that's happening out in that field, and there's a lot of uncertainty. People are not sure what's happening, so that's your chance to ask a question. Don't forget that segment will be at 4 p.m. today. Well, moving on with this segment. Today in this segment we will also talk about the Lokia Valley Multicultural Festival, and Idle Wardley will be joining me later on, and we'll also look at Bharatiya Navwarsh, which is happening tomorrow at King George Square, another wonderful event that is going to be taking place right here in Brisbane. And as I mentioned, there's so much that's happening right there. Well, JobKeeper has gone. How many jobs did it take with it? Let's find out.
Hi, how are you?
It didn't take Eunice Wang long to find work when JobKeeper ended in March. Her previous role in the tourism industry was part-time. Her new gig is casual and fewer hours, but she's happy.
There you go, thank you so much. It feels great. I really like this job because I love interacting with people, and I enjoy providing customer service.
The unemployment rate fell 0.2% to 5.5% in April. That's despite nearly 31,000 jobs being lost in the month as the JobKeeper wage subsidy came to an end. And it's all because there was a big drop in the number of people looking for work, known as the participation rate.
Well, what the job numbers show today is that the unemployment rate has fallen with the end of JobKeeper, and that the predictions from our political opponents that the sky would fall in was a false prediction.
The underemployment rate also fell because people dropped out of the workforce, and the number of hours worked in the month tumbled by 13 million.
We've got the unemployment rate back down to levels seen in March 2020, so almost back to sort of those pre-COVID levels of low fives.
The job figures from April have only given us a taste of the fallout of the end of the JobKeeper wage subsidy. With no firm date to reopen international borders, businesses that rely on that tourism will continue to suffer. So it's possible we'll see more people joining the dole queue. Qantas has frozen wages for 2 years and is offering redundancies for international cabin crew.
There's no other company in Australia that's had a bigger impact from COVID than the Qantas Group. 4.7 billion of losses at least, and 16 billion of revenue.
Airline rival Virgin Australia plans to create 250 jobs after last year announcing it would lay off 3,000 staff. Its CEO fronted the cameras just days after calling for open borders, even if it means some people will die from COVID.
If I had my time again, I would use different words to make the same point.
It was known as the Glass House.
With no international tourists, business at Melbourne River Cruises is down 60%. Captain Jimmy Whiskers is worried about his job.
Ladies and gentlemen, 11 o'clock cruise, have your tickets ready, now boarding.
5 staff have been let go, and those still employed have had their hours cut.
My wife does not work, so I'm the only breadwinner coming into the family, and we're trying to scrape through.
We're just going to have to hang in there and keep borrowing more money and trying to survive until the banks or someone just shuts us down.
A desperate situation for a business trying to stay afloat.
And trying to stay afloat virtually as well. and literally. So, it is hard. It is very, very challenging out there. So, people who have got jobs and got a job, consider yourself very, very lucky. And of course, when you look at the jobs and the number of people looking at jobs as well, a job is a job is a job. But if you take a real interest in the job, then it makes it a little bit more interesting as well. And of course, when someone employs someone, it's an investment for them, and they too would like to get a return on the investment. As the saying goes, a fair day's work for a fair day's the pay. So as long as it's fair right across the board as well. Well, right now, looking at in the next few the clips, we will look at the vaccine situation. So what's happening with Australians? Until we get vaccinated, are we like sitting ducks?
This health campaign packed such a punch, it's remembered 3 decades on.
Now we know every one of us could be devastated by it.
The terrifying TV ad almost instantly raised national awareness of AIDS.
It could kill more Australians than World War II.
I was involved in the Grim Reaper campaign. We had to convince people to adopt very serious behaviour change.
Awareness isn't the enemy in the fight against COVID, it's complacency and vaccine hesitancy.
I'm afraid to say that the present campaign just is not cutting it.
Thank you.
Whereas the Brits have conscripted stars and Singapore some dubious pop, the Australian government has relied on the likes of a telegenic medic for the vaccine sell.
There's more ads for Hamilton the musical than there are for getting people vaccinated.
Now there's a thought. But with almost a third of the population telling pollsters they don't intend getting a jab, what is the government doing to combat resistance?
There is more communications going into the more elderly population, and you'll see that rolled out in the weeks ahead.
So what do those look like?
No, they'll see it when it comes.
The public.
So communication is very, very important because, getting the right message and people will buy that, of course, in many instances, are very quickly put together and hastily put together, not well thought of campaign does not cut it, or it gets the opposite message to what it's intended to do. So how is the rollout going forward? What is happening with the rollout?
In the slow lane.
I think our vaccination strategy has been one of the worst in the world.
What went wrong with our COVID vaccine rollout?
We know that 1 in 6 people are saying that they probably won't be vaccinated.
They've gone from very high demand to caution and concern.
The biggest impact on hesitancy is sensationalist media reporting.
Would that fill me with confidence as a citizen? Absolutely not.
I hope you're not inadvertently undercutting confidence in it.
Four Corners, Monday.
So, it is cutting the corners there, as they mentioned, but we'll have to look at the whole picture in its totality. Well, the pandemic has done something. What has it created?
Analysis of the Forbes Rich List by the People's Vaccine Alliance has found at least 9 people have become billionaires since the start of the pandemic because of their investments in vaccine production. The Alliance, whose members include Oxfam and Global Justice Now, also say the billionaires' combined wealth is greater than the cost of vaccinating the world's poorest countries. Here's Lynn Morgan from Oxfam Australia. Lynn, welcome. Tell us more about how you came up with the numbers.
Well, what the numbers are based on is essentially the profits that the companies in question have made over the period. And as you can see, they're quite staggering. This is against, of course, what we know the cost would be to vaccinate large parts of the globe.
And the new billionaires are those who have invested in the company, or are they directly involved in the companies themselves which have been producing the vaccines?
I think that varies. I mean, in many cases, this is simply an investment for these people, and how they've approached their financial arrangements is not so much our concern. Our concern is that we have a system that's failing because we see 9 individuals gaining very significant wealth that they could almost certainly not spend, at the same time as our systems for distributing the vaccine to countries that really need it are falling short. So what we're
falling short there, but 9 new billionaires the pandemic has created. So, call that astute businessman or businessman. And of course, the industry did need the funds, and of course, when these people have invested, they would be getting the return. So, but as was mentioned by the Oxfam, is that whether or not it is cutting across and going to everyone that's needed. Well, let's take a look now at what is it like to get vaccinated.
Catherine Marshall came to Melbourne's Sunshine Hospital with her aunt Margaret for COVID jabs, both eligible, but they left unvaccinated and humiliated.
And it left me feeling really disheartened.
They presented this letter saying Catherine's aunt, who has an intellectual disability and other conditions, is in the 1B category. But they say the woman fronting the vaccination unit said the letter could have been forged and refused to ring the doctor who wrote it.
She said to us, anybody could write that.
And how did that make you feel?
Feel real down, let down and not happy.
Margaret hasn't tried again.
On the very same day, one family member came through here as a healthcare worker, as a dentist, showed their payslip and went straight through to get a vaccine.
For its part, Sunshine Hospital says it's sorry and it's investigating. But many people say this is a much wider problem.
I think people with disability have been completely overlooked and forgotten and disregarded and actively deprioritised.
The ABC has heard stories of vaccination staff not knowing how to treat people with sensory disorders, of contradictory and unclear communication, of different policies for people with disabilities across the states.
And so that's the problem that we have, communication once again. Of course, training for the staff and making them aware of all the circumstances and how to deal with people with disabilities as well, and all those things really needed to be done. Well, right now it's time for a commercial break.
GlobeNet Realty. GlobeNet Realty has been the longest established, trusted and respected agency in its trade area. Washa Chandra, Director of GlobeNet Realty, provides honest and ethical service to her customers. If you are thinking of investing in Brisbane real estate market, or if you are seeking professional property management, then you should contact Usha Chandra today on landline 3865 4466 or mobile 0419 775 416. And for further updates, log on to our website www.globenetralty.com.au. GlobeNet Realty is your own local real estate agency. Situated at Shop 52281 Sandgate Road, Boondall. GlobeNet Realty. Real estate is our world.
And real estate is the world. And don't forget that every Wednesday we have the real estate update right here with Usha Chandra. And we bring to you the property trends, looking at all the suburbs, the open houses, the auction results, and the property price changes. Well, right now it's time for overseas news. Well, talking about overseas, what's happening with overseas students? Are they about to return anytime soon?
Universities are bracing for another year in the red.
The overall loss of capacity is a clear and present danger.
On uni, there's less people and it's a bit sadder.
At Victoria's La Trobe University, local student Georgie Beattie and her mate Sanjeev Konda House, who's from India, feel the pandemic has robbed them of a formative campus experience.
It's really great. For me, the main thing has been my subject choices. You know, it's things like how library hours have been cut.
I see a lot of my friends deferring their semesters. I see a lot of my friends dropping out from university.
There you go. Thank you.
La Trobe Uni says it's acted on their concerns, but the high fee-paying international students actually on campus, like Sanjeev, say their peers have little patience left for Australia's firmly closed borders.
There are a lot of international students looking up options for different countries than Australia. They're trying to move to Canada, Germany for their international studies. So that's at the moment a bit sad that I can't get my friends here to study with me.
When we lose international students, our valued colleagues from overseas, that makes a really serious revenue hit for universities.
And of course it does. And it was yesterday that we were at the City Hall and discussing this. And in that discussion, we were talking about, people or students who are waiting to go somewhere. They will not wait for the borders to open, because that means there's another year out of their studying life. That means they will be set behind. They will fall behind their peers. So that's why if they get an opportunity to go to, say, Canada and whatever, they will go. So, wherever the opening is, they will go, rather than just waiting for Australian borders to open. So, revenue-wise, we would be missing out in a great lot. But of course, Australia's the rules and regulations and the safety concerns and everything also needs to be considered as well. So that is, of course, one of the things that has always been taken into account. Well, borders being closed, and of course, those the repatriation flights which have been coming from India. One flight came half with the number of passengers, others were turned away. So what's happening? And of course, right now, the sisters of that Sydney businessman, Govind, they're coming out to speak out. Let's hear from them.
Gauri Gupta, thank you so much for talking to us in these difficult circumstances, and I'm glad to see that you're being supported there today by your daughter Suchi. Can you first tell us what it is that you'd like your brother Govind to be remembered for?
Govind was the youngest of us 3 siblings and a really naughty kid. I used to mother him a lot because he was my little younger brother, and he came to Australia actually because I was here already, and he came in 2001 to do an MBA from Macquarie Uni, and he stayed with us during that time because obviously money was tight. He would study all day, do his assignments in the lab because the computer lab was open only till 1 a.m. And then he would work at the petrol station in Artarmon for a few hours just to get some money going. And that's how he started his, I guess, new life in Australia. And later, after his MBA, he did his MBA in marketing, but his passion was for nature because he was a nature lover. He loved bushwalks with a special liking for waterfalls. He was absolutely crazy for them. And he really wanted to do something for the environment and the planet, and that's why he decided to join the marketing side of solar. Now, end of March, my mother unfortunately passed away in India, not because of COVID, but she had some other health issues. So we ummed and ahed about it, and I wasn't feeling too well at that time, and he decided to then travel for the funeral services and then head back by mid-April. He did leave in early April. He was able to get a flight. He sought the exemption from the federal government, and on compassionate grounds was granted that. And he did the ceremony. He was quite pleased with himself, but we were unable to secure a flight for him by mid-April because the number of flights were restricted. And then by mid-April, all hell broke loose because the virus just went viral, absolutely viral. I mean, the real true meaning of the word viral in India. And even though he kept trying, he was able to secure an Air India flight for the 24th of April to fly back. But by that time, unfortunately, he tested COVID positive. In the meanwhile, my father also tested positive, and just a week later, even though my father was recovering, we could not source a ventilator bed for him, and he died in Govind's arms, gasping for oxygen. I think that trauma, we hadn't even finished grieving for my mother. Really, he held that to heart, and he took a downturn. We did contact the High Commission, but apparently, obviously, the Australian government does not have any contacts with the medical services in India. But my sister-in-law out there was able to source him a good hospital there. And even though he was in the ICU for 3 weeks, his condition just deteriorated, and we were expecting him to be back on Mother's Day, post-quarantine time. He didn't make it. He was
he didn't make it. That is rather unfortunate, very, very unfortunate, the way everything unfolded there. It is, very sad news there. Well, let's look at the other case.
Perth Children's Hospital is a $1.2 billion state-of-the-art facility, promising world-class care to Western Australia's children and families. But what happened in the emergency room at this hospital on the Easter long weekend has prompted outrage and despair.
Since that incident, I've been telling everyone, Perth Children's Hospital is a 5-star hospital with a 0-star care.
We should not be tolerating a 2-hour wait in our emergency departments for anything, really, to be honest.
Hello, my name is Australia and this is Channel 9 News. First of all, let's check the weather forecast for tomorrow.
My daughter was always happy. She was so ambitious. She wanted to achieve a lot of things in her life.
She was very talented, always happy and caring.
Seven-year-old Aishwarya Ashwath was rushed to PCH on Easter Saturday after coming down with a fever that her parents noticed was getting worse. At about 5:30 p.m, Aishwarya's father carried her into the emergency department, telling staff she was unwell.
They were very casual. They were not taking it serious.
An internal hospital report later revealed a cascade of missed opportunities which may have contributed to her death. Aishwarya was assessed in the second least urgent category. For nearly 2 hours, her parents say they pleaded at least 5 times with multiple staff to attend to her, saying her eyes had turned cloudy and hands were cold.
We were just looking for help.
Another very, very unfortunate incident there. So, looking at the other side when I meant was, looking at India, then right here in Australia, where, the facilities are 5-star, as he mentioned, and the care he mentioned was 1-star. So, it is very, very unfortunate. Well, right now, let's move on to the next segment, which is the interviews for today. And we are going to Lokia Valley. Let's take a look. So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, welcome to this very special segment where we talk about many things that are happening in the community. As we know, at this point in time, all your travel holidays must be on hold. You can't go anywhere, but there's an opportunity to go around the world. And to talk about that and why and how all this is happening, I would like to welcome to the studio Adil Wardley. Adil, thank you for joining us today.
Good morning, Umesh. Thank you for the opportunity.
No, so thank you so much for joining with us. So, well, tell us about this Multicultural Festival.
The Lokia Valley Multicultural Festival is in its 7th year. We have an incredible day where once a year we invite all of the community to come together to showcase all the different and wonderful, diverse aspects of the Lokia Valley.
And of course, that is a wonderful thing that, we can show all the diverse aspects of the valley. Just going through the festival itself, you said it's in the 7th year. So could you take us through some of the years and how it's developed over this time?
Certainly. I became involved in the festival back in 2017, just helping with organising the entertainment, and our organisation, Spirit of the Valley Events, now runs the entire festival. Council has entrusted that event to us. It's grown substantially from a smaller event that was all around Harmony Day to a major annual event that now attracts around 2,000 people.
It's wonderful that, it's grown and it's taken that shape. So, of course, when we, would have begun with the Harmony Day once being a slightly different approach to what it is now as a big multicultural festival. So what would be the highlights of the day? What can people expect to see?
Oh, there's so many wonderful things. We're starting the event with the Yagara dancers, which is an amazing Aboriginal troupe. They will be followed by a full Māori haka and poi. We have one of our own residents who is a beautiful classical Bharatanatyam dancer. And we're finishing off the day with Japanese drumming. So the taiko drummers are coming. And that's a form of martial arts.
And
so
it
it's a very
definitely
powerful,
is,
very
and that is wonderful that you've got your local Bharatanatyam artist there as well. So it is truly around the world when you look at the culture. And of course, if it is a festival people come, they look at all the stage items as well. But of course, they always like to look at some stalls and some food items as well. So would the food stalls be there as well?
Most definitely. We have a new business opening, Indian Tadka. So they'll be there. They'll be sharing their wonderful Indian food. We have food from Kenya, from Thailand, and we've even got an American street food stall just for something different.
And that is amazing that you've got all the taste and the cuisine from around the world. Now, of course, when we're coming to the festival, how do people get to that? And just briefly, the location. I know people might enter that in the GPS and things like that.
The event is being held at Ferrari Park, which is off Whites Road in Laidley. Alternatively, they can look up Spirit of the Valley events on Facebook. We have all of the information there. We kick off at 10 a.m. All the performances start at 10:30 and we run until 3 p.m.
So that is wonderful. It will be a good day out for people going, out towards Laidley and, seeing a little bit of the country and then coming to this wonderful festival. Sunday the 23rd, 10 a.m. till 3 p.m. Okay, now in a festival of this nature, under the current circumstances, what are the entry requirements?
Well, there's been quite a few changes for events under 10,000 people. So at the moment, we will have, of course, hand sanitizer, but we are currently not required to record people unless they're dancing. Then we do need to get contact tracing information. You can pick up a ticket if you would like to book in for a workshop from lockyervalleytickets.com.au. But the entire event, activities and entry are all free for the community. And it's just a really wonderful showcase of all the diverse community groups that are out here. We are very multicultural with people from all over the world. And this is their chance to show that and to celebrate.
And that is wonderful that, we're showing the diversity that is the fabric of modern day Australia. And it is wonderful to see that, even in Laidley, of course, before in the major cities you could see some multicultural things happening, but now, especially going on in the country and, multicultural festivals taking place, I think that is a wonderful thing, showcasing the multicultural talent and everyone coming together, enjoying each other's culture, tradition, and of course the food. So well done for putting this together. Now, so in conclusion, is there anything that you'd like to add?
Come see the world all in one place, all in one day, and you won't have to go into 14 days quarantine when you come back.
Isn't that wonderful that, quarantine-free travel around the world right here in our doorstep. So ladies and gentlemen, the Lokia Valley, the Multicultural Festival, a free community event, Sunday, 23rd of May from 10 a.m. till 3 p.m. Ferrari Park, Laidley, live performances, international cuisine and crowds, bringing the world to you. So for all inquiries, should you require further inquiry, you can email admin@sotminic.org.au or you can call 0448 326 246. Adil, once again, thank you so much for sharing this information with us and wishing you all the very best for the festival.
Thank you, and you enjoy your day.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.
And that was Idle Wadley from the Lokia Valley Multicultural Festival. Well, another that's happening on Sunday. What's happening tomorrow? Tomorrow is the Bharatiya Navwarsh, which is taking place at King George Square. Let's talk to Assis about that, and let's see, if he can shed some light on what's happening tomorrow. And this segment will be in Hindi and partly in English.
जागृति संस्थान के ब्रिस्बेन शाखा का एक कार्यकर्ता है और आज हम उनसे कुछ बातचीत करने वाले हैं आने वाले भारतीय नववर्ष उत्सव के विषय में। तो आशीष, आपका स्वागत है आज हमारे पास स्टूडियो में आने के लिए। और आप हमें बताएंगे कि पहले की ये जो भारतीय नववर्ष है इसे मई महीने में क्यों मनाया जा रहा है?
तो पहले तो सभी को नमस्कार और दिव्य ज्योति की ओर से। तो जैसे कि उमेश जी ने पूछा, इसे हम अभी जैसे 22 मई को जो है प्रोग्राम अभी क्यों मना रहे हैं, तो मैं ये बताना चाहूँगा कि जैसे भारतीय नववर्ष जो कि चैत्र शुक्ल प्रतिपदा जो इंडियन कैलेंडर है उसका जो फर्स्ट डे होता है, जो कि इस ईयर 12 अप्रैल को था। तो हमारा प्रोग्राम पहले 10 अप्रैल को शेड्यूल था, बट बिकॉज ऑफ कोविड एज वी ऑल नो, मतलब हम ऐसे टाइम में हैं कि जब हमें पता नहीं कि चीज़ें कैसे आगे पैन आउट होंगी, तो इसलिए वो हमें पोस्टपोन करके इसको मई में शेड्यूल करना पड़ा। बट अदरवाइज आवर इंडियन न्यू ईयर इज मोस्टली सेलिब्रेटेड इन द मंथ ऑफ अप्रैल।
और ये तो बहुत ही अच्छी बात है कि जो आपने बताया हमें कि इसका जो मई महीने में क्यों मनाया जा रहा है, और ये क्योंकि अभी जो पेंडेमिक चल रहा है, महामारी को लेकर पूरे विश्व भर में जो फैली हुई है, उसी को लेकर बहुत सारे उलझन हुई है, उसी कारण से ये जो है इसे मई महीने में जो है मनाया जा रहा है।
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल।
तो चलिए आप आगे हमें आप बताएंगे कि आने वाला जो हमारे नववर्ष उत्सव है जो कि 27 मई को होगा किंग जॉर्ज स्क्वायर पर, इसमें क्या कुछ होने वाला है और किस रूप से इसे प्रस्तुत किया जाएगा?
हाँ जी, तो जैसे कि ये पूरा इंडियन न्यू ईयर जो इवेंट है 22 मई को किंग जॉर्ज स्क्वायर में, वो आप 2 PM से स्टार्ट होके 8:30 PM तक होगा, जिसमें आपका एग्जीबिशन स्टॉल्स होंगे जो कि डिपिक्ट करेंगे, जिसका थीम है एग्जीबिशन का साइंस एंड स्पिरिचुअलिटी बिहाइंड ट्रेडिशंस एंड रिचुअल्स, इंडियन ट्रेडिशंस एंड रिचुअल्स, जो कि हम अपने लाइफ में हमने बहुत बार देखे होंगे, हम बहुत बार उसके पार्ट रहे होंगे, लेकिन आई थिंक विद टाइम वी टेंड टू फॉरगेट और misconstrued the logic or the science behind those rituals. तो वही एग्जीबिशन होगा कि हम यही लोगों तक पहुंचाना चाहते हैं कि जो कि हमारे रिचुअल्स और ट्रेडिशंस थे, इंडियन ट्रेडिशंस, वो बहुत ही साइंटिफिक और बहुत ही लॉजिकल थे, बट हम जनरेशन बाय जनरेशन वो पास ऑन नहीं कर पाए। तो उसके ऊपर एग्जीबिशन होगा, फिर फूड स्टॉल्स भी होंगे, तो और उसके बाद वील मूव ऑन टू द स्टेज परफॉर्मेंसेज विच विल स्टार्ट फ्रॉम 5 PM ऑनवर्ड्स। तो उसमें बहुत से डांस ग्रुप्स भी हैं, वहाँ पे प्रेयर्स भी होंगी, एज वी आर इन सच हार्ड टाइम्स एंड वी ऑल्सो नो अभी जो इंडिया में कंडीशन है बहुत ही मतलब ख़राब है, लोग बहुत ही दुखद समय से गुजर रहे हैं। तो उसके लिए हम प्रे करेंगे, एंड एवरीवन अराउंड द वर्ल्ड, हम हर जगह देख रहे हैं किसी ना किसी तरह की कोई प्रॉब्लम हर कोई फेस कर रहा है, तो सबकी सुख शांति के लिए प्रेयर्स होंगी। वील हैव डिवोशनल सॉन्ग्स और बहुत से ग्रुप्स हैं इन विच द किड्स आर ऑल्सो पार्टिसिपेटिंग, वो आके वहाँ पे परफॉर्म करेंगे, एंड देन वी ऑल्सो हैव द लॉर्ड मेयर ग्रेसिंग द ओकेजन दिस टाइम on this event. So yeah, I would like you all to be part of this great event.
And of course, it is a great event, and it will be good that everyone can come and take part in this wonderful event which is taking place tomorrow. And as Ashish mentioned, it is at King George Square, a free event, and everyone can come and take part in that event. किया गया है क्योंकि मौजूदा हालात को मद्देनजर रखते हुए, जैसे कि हमने पहले बात किया है कि इस समय जो हमारा महामारी चल रही है विश्व भर में, और खासकर इस समय भारतवर्ष में जो दुखता छाई हुई है, वहाँ पर लोगों को ऑक्सीजन नहीं मिल रहा है और कितने कठिनाइयाँ सामना कर पड़ा है। हम बहुत ही खुश नसीब हैं, हम ऐसे देश में यहाँ ऑस्ट्रेलिया में रह रहे हैं जहाँ यहाँ का मेडिकल जो फैसिलिटीज़ वगैरह बहुत ही अच्छी है, लेकिन हमें उन लोगों के लिए सोचना है हमारे जो पीछे है और उनका हालात जो है वो किस तरीके से है। सभी को सहयोग देने के लिए स्टैंडिंग टुगेदर विद द कम्युनिटी के लिए आप सभी ज़रूर से आइए।
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल जी, 22 मई को मार्क दिस डे और 2 p.m. onwards and going on till 8:30 we'll have this New Year event, and I would personally like to invite you all on behalf of Divya Jyoti Jagriti Sansthan, whose head and founder Shri Ashutosh Maharaji has given us this opportunity and this wisdom to come up with such an event and make a platform for everyone to come together and pray for the community, pray for the well-being of everyone around the world. So I invite you all on this special occasion, 22nd of May, King George Square, 2 p.m. Thank you.
मिलते हैं आप सभी से वहीं पर.
See you all there. Bye.
And yes, ladies and gentlemen, so that event is happening tomorrow. Well, right now, let's take a look at what other events are taking place in and around Brisbane. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen, some of the functions and events taking place. Next week we'll be talking about Gopia Queensland's mental health seminar, which is taking place on the 29th, and we will be talking to Arpit right here in this studio. He'll talk about what's happening in that and what can be seen. But don't forget that today at 4 p.m. right here in this studio, Suman Dua will be here and she will be answering any questions that you might have on migration or anything related to migration, and that's happening right here in this studio from 4 p.m. today. Hope to see you all there into that segment as well. So until that time, it's goodbye from me. Have a wonderful day, and most importantly, remain safe.